Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I am glad to see you. Thank you
Same here,
so
same here.
much. Thank you so
Indeed,
much
same.
for this opportunity.
Thank you for having me, man.
Tato, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here with us today. Thank you for taking the time for this interview. I appreciate it. It's a
No problem.
great honor to talk with a boxer who already has an impressive journey, a 21-5 record, gold
Yes, sir.
novice champion, two-time Johannesburg champion, two-time Gauteng champion, and the South African Nationals silver medalist. Today, we want to learn more about the person behind the boxer, your story, your beginnings, your sacrifices, your motivation, and the engine inside you that keeps you moving forward. Welcome to my YouTube channel, friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to answering as much as I can and teaching you more about myself as well as a person and not just a boxer.
Tato, tell us about you were born and where you grew up.
Well, I was born in a place, so I was born in Johannesburg. Um, to be precise, I was born in Baragwana, a hospital called Baragwana, which is located just in the south, which is in Soweto. Um, I grew up in a household where it was me and my brothers as well as my two sisters as well. Yeah, we were raised by my aunt and my mom as well, who was my sister's my mom's sister. Dad lives in KZN, but yeah, my whole journey began in Joburg, where I went to a school called Townsview Primary School. That was late in my primary, whereas always in most troubles you would say as every child would be in trouble, but um I had a battling problem when it came to speaking. I was always afraid to be out in public and voicing myself. So I was always quiet. So everyone thought of me as being quiet or I'm a bully or that. So grew up in an area where I was always just quite a person. So my friend's mom took us to a training gym. So we started there just to make us learn discipline and to be good in school. So we went there. I think I was in grade four, grade five. I started MMA and started there doing training. From MMA, I met a coach there who was doing Muay Thai, and I went into a Muay Thai class. And I was like, no, man, I actually like doing this. It was first just to teach us to be good, but I just like the impact of fighting. My Muay Thai sensei died in his home with his family where his house burnt down. So the gym closed down. And I had to find an alternative sport to do, which was boxing that I found. Went into boxing 2020, just a year of COVID. Um, Started doing boxing ever since then. And yeah, I mean, I've learned to enjoy it. And most people would say that it's a sport that as I went in, I kind of moved too quick because when I went there, there's gradings in SA where you grade to from red, blue, green, silver, bronze, and gold. But I went straight to blue, which made it hard for me to get experience because now I was already ranked in the blue rankings, where meaning I fight guys who are more experienced, and boxing was a new thing for me. So it taught me a lot of, it taught me to be hard and strong per se. So in my journey of that, yeah, I mean that's who I am. Yeah, I had to grow up at a very young age where I had to be a man at a very young age because my mom passed away when I was still young. So I moved in with my aunt, and ever since then, I had to now change the way I do things. I had to think differently. I had to protect my younger sisters and my older sisters. I had to think like a man and not like a boy at a very young age. So that's my side of who I am. A young boy who had to grow up quite quick.
Your story is very, very interesting. You are
Yeah.
talented. Tell me, please, about what made you choose boxing?
So I wouldn't say I have a reason to why I chose boxing. So like I said, for me it was I had I, I was put into the art, I would say martial arts to teach me to be good, I'd say in school, you know, to train me to be more humble, more disciplined. And then it became hard, Um, I was always seen as the one who was bullying people, but whereas I was being the one bullied emotionally, I was being bullied most of the guys in the area physically, because I was the most smallest out of all my other friends, you know. And then I was also the least famous from all of them. So I was always picked around on. People at school always called me names. They said, look at this boy, look how he's dressed, he doesn't look neat. So emotionally and physically, I was always abused, but people always thought I was the one being abused. So I didn't want, because it got to a point where I was like, this is enough now. And then they saw it as anger. And then I went into boxing to control my anger. But it was not anger, it was just a young boy was heartbroken because there's no friends around him to call, hey, come through, be my friend. I have friends in the area, but in school, I was not a person to make friends easy because always picked on. So I went into boxing because people thought that I had anger issues. And basically, I was just looking for friends. And I just fell in love with that one friend, which was boxing. And ever since then, I've been in love with this close friend of mine, boxing. And I've been in the art of fighting since grade 5 until now. So it became my best friend, and I don't think I'll ever let go of it as yet.
Do you remember your first day walking into a boxing gym? The very, very first day in boxing gym.
Yeah, I remember that day. When I walked into the first boxing gym, there was a guy called a boxing gym per se. When I walked in, there was a guy, Manny Fernandez. He was training a lady who was a champion, Matidiso. And they were training there, and I was like, hey, this is who I am. I really want to try this. And I was wearing a Muay Thai t-shirt. And it's like, yeah, so these are the fees of boxing. You must come back. But I remember when I walked in there, all you could smell was leather. I remember walking there, and all I could hear was banging, boom, boom, boom. The guys were eating the bags. And as I walked in, all you could just smell was pure, pure leather. And it looked so raw to a point like, no, I really want this. And then like when you watch those Rocky Balboa movies, literally when I walked in, everything was slow mo. I was like, wow, I want this. And to see a female hitting so hard, I was like, if she can hit that hard, I also want to hit that hard too. And I was like, is this boxing? Because I'm used to MMA and Muay Thai, but this is what I want to do now. So when I walked in there for the first time, the smell of leather is one thing I remember. And I remember smelling when I closed my eyes. Just the smell of pure leather, yeah.
Oh, next question is very,
Yeah.
very interesting. Maybe you watched a fight. Maybe one of your friends was interested. Who is this person? Maybe you discovered boxing yourself. Who introduced you to boxing?
Manny Pacquiao.
What do you think about Pac-Man?
Which Pac-Man? The famous Pac-Man.
Manny
Sorry?
Pacquiao,
Oh,
nicknamed.
Manny Pacquiao.
Yes.
Oh, Manny Pacquiao. So the reason why I love Manny Pacquiao is only because I know many boxers look into other boxers because they're the greatest boxers or they have a good skill. But Manny Pacquiao caught me because of his story and not because of the way he punches. You know, I've always been a young boy who had a great heart towards people, the community in a big. Hence, even now till today, community work is one of my greatest things ever. I've worked with Sanka and other organizations to try change bullying in our area, drug abuse and stuff like that. So Manny Pacquiao caught me from a very young age because he didn't just punch for himself, but he punched for his whole country and to change everyone around him. So when he lifted his fist up, he didn't do it for himself. And it's how everyone behind him, that even when he fought, he knew that he had the whole country behind him. Even though he was a Philistine, he came from a very, very small island, but everyone there had his back, you know. When he stepped in, it's like the whole island stopped and froze. People wouldn't work, everyone would stop and watch him only because he knew what he was fighting for. He was fighting for change, a young boy who came from nothing, and he fought to not only make himself different. When he fought, he said, I'll step in the ring and make a difference in my country. So he fought for the people and not for himself. I think that's what caught me. And then his skill was a bonus. So my first love of boxing would be Manny Pacquiao, then Lomachenko because of skill.
One of my favorite fights is Manny Pacquiao versus Marcus 4, when Marcus won
Yes,
by
yes, yes,
knockout,
yes.
beautiful knockout.
Yeah, indeed, indeed, indeed. I mean, that was one of the fights that also touched me because Manny Pacquiao's knockout wasn't just any. We all know him to be a fast hitter. You know, he's a quick hitter. He hits combinations there and there. You know, and he has a high knockout ratio. But in that fight, it was one fight where I also saw Manny Pacquiao not just fighting, but you could tell in him that he was not just fighting for himself, like I said, he was fighting for everyone, like his whole country. Only because even in that fight, the whole face off, the whole then meeting and stuff, the whole talks about that fight really touched him in an emotional way to a point that Manny Pacquiao had to prove that he can give it his all, you know. So that fight alone is what also made him, I would say. So yeah, that was a great fight for me as well.
But it was a lucky punch. Pacquiao won all 4 fights. Pacquiao won on points. It was a
Yeah.
lucky punch.
Yeah, I mean, people can say in boxing you get lucky punches, you know, but we need to give credit where it's due, you know. You need to give the guy his crown, you know. Pick your head to learn one way or another, you know. That even if people can say it was a lucky punch, but it did land, you know. It was a knockout at the end of the day. Till today, we speak about it and it counts as a knockout. So it's one fight that Pacquiao had to learn from as well, you know, despite how the knockout came about. But a knockout is a knockout, you know, and we have to give it to whoever takes it, despite it being lucky.
Oh, I remember how Hasim Rahman defeated Lennox Lewis with a lucky punch in South Africa.
Oh yes, that was actually one of the not one of the biggest fights that we had in SA then, but it was one of the I would say biggest, yeah, but not entirely to me. But yeah, so going back to that knockout as well, you could say it was a lucky punch too, you know. But I always give credit where it's due, you know. A knockout is a knockout at the end of the day. So if you catch someone, you catch someone. Because we all know as boxers to always work in, put yourself at all times. And if you couldn't do that, then you couldn't do that, you know. So you have to always have your hands up at all times, have your guard up. And if you drop your guard, despite how lucky it might be, you just dropped your guard, you know. So we told before you start, right? Fight, are you ready? Yes, are you ready? Keep your hands up at all times, put yourself at all times, go back to your corners, fight. So you were told those instructions, and if you didn't, and if you can't keep to them, then you have to learn the hard way.
It plays an
Yeah.
important role. Who was your first boxing coach?
My first boxing coach,
Yeah.
my first. So it depends on the question. As it was my the first coach that took me to fight, or the first coach that taught me how to hold a punch. So my first amateur boxing coach was Coach Nicky Ness. But the first coach that I stepped into a boxing gym in was Manny Fernandez.
What is the biggest lesson your first coach taught you?
The biggest lesson my first coach taught me. That would be the guy that taught me Muay Thai. That guy, so he was my first ever coach ever. He told me one thing in life and in boxing. I mean, in martial arts in a whole. He said to me that no matter where I go and no matter which people I meet, even if I change coaches or move into another coach, whoever the coach I'm gonna find and gonna learn from, I must always teach myself to be a sponge. What a sponge does is it absorbs water in as much as it can take. Say to me, even if your sponge is overflowing of water, keep sucking as much as you can. So he always taught me in life that no matter how good you can be, no matter how many titles that you can hold, always be open to learning more and take as much knowledge as you can from everyone that you'll meet. Whether you will win, whether you'll lose, wherever you go, be a sponge.
The first fight in boxing. Tell us about your first amateur fight.
Well, my first amateur fight was quite funny. So I went in there. It was my first fight. The guy I was fighting was 6-0, 5-0. He had a couple of fights in his books, and it was my first fight only because I was ranked blue. So I had upper ranking when it came to my first fight. I think he was a green boxer or bronze boxer then. Um, I went in there. First, that guy was good. Yeah, he was good. He was a southpaw guy. He was good. But I remember telling myself that no matter how good this guy can be, but he can't take me down. Second round, I came out charging out. Third round, I came out charging out, and I knew that if only I just composed myself, I actually would have beat this guy. And I think I went in there because everyone told me about how good he was that it got to my head. And then I went in there, blanked out, but when I felt his punch, like, no, man, for actually a good guy, you don't have power and you can't hit. And then that's when I clicked in, but it was too late. But yeah, my first fight was the nerves, being scared, going up there, not knowing what to do. Am I gonna lose? Am I gonna win? You know, my heart beating so fast that I could even hear it. So yeah, my first fight was quite interesting but scary.
You can't be stopped. You have great achievements in boxing. And now we will hear about your great success. You are
Indeed.
very strong, and it's impossible not to respect it. It deserves attention. Everyone should know about you. Achievements. You become a gold novice champion. What did that achievement mean to you?
Wow, nah. Speaking about the novice, that achievement is one of the greatest achievements. I mean, I even have it hanged up there. It's one of the only medals that I have hanged up the wall out of all the medals I have. You know, I'm looking at it now as we speak, also, it's right there. That that gold medal was not just any medal because I went in there, first guy I fought, for the first guy that I fought, my left shoulder popped out and I couldn't lift my hand anymore. And I remember my coach Duncan saying to me, my coach Duncan saying, it's only temporary. If you're still alive, you can go back and you can finish this fight. You're doing great, go back. I'm like, coach, my hand is so, it's like, no man, go back. I went back, finished the round, I came and I won. After I won my first fight, I came off the ring and I couldn't lift my hand. And mind you, in my weight division, I still had five more guys to still fight. And this was the first guy out of all the other five I had to still fight out of all the six of us. And I still had to fight five more guys. Now I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? I only have one hand. I might as well give up. Coach told me, you know what, come to my house. Let's see what we can do. Went to his house, jumped into the pool, swam a bit, tried to move my hand around. Couldn't move my hand at all. You know, the least I could do with my hand is just like flinch, but I couldn't lift anything. I couldn't lift my hand. That same night, I didn't sleep. Went home, I cried that night. I prayed, I'm like, God, you know how much I need this. Why would you do this to me? I said, you know what? If you really need, if if this is my end of the journey, then Lord, let it be. but I'll fight through it. But Lord, I know that you gave me all that I can. And with that, I'll give it all. Just please use me and let me be the vessel. And I remember that night sleeping, crying, saying, Lord, please use me, use me, use me. And then the ref, the ref had said that day that I shouldn't come back and fight the next day because my hand had popped out. But I remember sleeping and saying, Lord, use me, use me, use me. 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Um, get a call from Coach Nikki. Hey, I know your hand is dislocated, but just come through. Just check your weight and take points. We'll throw in the towel. We just need you to take points so that you can be able to go to the nationals. I'm like, Lord, okay, if this is what I have to do, let me do it. I went up there. I fought a guy who was southpaw, tall guy, taller than me, who was more heavier than me by 3 kilos. And he was southpaw, and I had no hand. I only had one hand, and which is my right hand. I remember that day I told myself, I even told the guys that guys, I prayed about this and I think God is gonna use me. They said, Thato, if you win this fight with one hand, I will respect you. I said, guys, don't respect me, respect God, because I know I'm gonna win this fight. I went in there, I fought that fight southpaw for the first time with one hand, and I fought that fight very well. I scored a, a 5-0, so meaning all judges were favoring me. I fought the fourth guy. That guy fought with one hand. I won. Also with one hand, all judges were on my side. First guy I fought until the last guy that I fought, and I won. I took gold that year with only one hand and one hand only. So my one hand was dislocated, and I had to fight the whole of Novus with just one hand. And that day, I was like, wow, if Lord can use me, then He can use anyone. So that's why I think the Novus is one of my biggest achievements because I never thought I would fight a style I've never fought before, and I won using one hand. So yeah, that was my biggest achievement.
Wow, you give all of yourself. You never break down. You never give up. It's very cool. I respect you.
Thank you.
What was special about becoming a two-time Johannesburg champion?
Oh, that was nice because um, the guys in the team, Risang and I, Samu and Sinclair, you know, Risang and the other guys, John and the other guys, we came from the Novus together, Kamu and us. So we told ourselves, guys, we're all in the Novus team. Moving in now, we're going to Gauteng. We just need to take gold. So the whole thing was we were all driven by gold, gold, gold until the nationals. So we all had a bet that guys, we just want to take gold. We're the first time this is our first time going to nationals, and there's guys who've been there. And then I think that we're gonna be a walk in the park, but we won't be. So, excuse me, we stuck strong, John, Risang, um, Kamu and the other guys, you know, and yeah, I mean CJ, Wandile and them, we were all there, and we stuck out saying, guys, no matter how hard it gets, we wanna shoot to the top. So I think because of my biggest moment was I didn't do it alone, I had a whole family behind me that we were pushing together. And I mean, till today we speak, we train together, we still had the same goals. So that was one of the biggest achievements of my Johannesburg, having to take gold twice last year and this year, because it's the same mindset that, guys, if you can do it, we can do it again. So meeting family was one of my biggest achievements when it comes to the two-time Johannesburg champion.
It's very interesting because you win big tournaments more than once. You show consistently high
Yeah.
results. That means you are disciplined and hard working. How did winning the Gauteng championship twice change your confidence?
Well, I went last year and I was like, you know what? I have this goal secure for the nationals. I can do it. And I was like, yeah, no, we can do it, guys. We're there. And that alone gave us hope that, listen, yeah, if you can do it like, and it wasn't easy, but if you can do it to that extent, then nothing can stop us. And we had hard guys, in like tough opponents, but we never backed down. We just kept on punching, we kept on moving. So that just gave us a belief that it's possible. So winning that alone gave us a reassurance that it is possible.
Wow, it's not that everyone always wins. At least once someone loses. For example, Vasil Lomachenko, for whom
Yeah,
you mentioned, lost only one time in amateurs and won
yeah.
and won more than 300 victories and
True.
only time lost. And you, what did winning a silver medal at the South African Nationals teach you? Tell me please about that final.
Wow. So the finals in the nationals, I went in with a guy they called Tyson. Um, he's from KZN, KwaZulu Natal, and when I went into that ring, I was like, wow, I'm really in the finals, and it's my first time here. You know, I beat all the guys who have done this before, and it's my first time doing it. And now I'm against a guy who went into the national team, 12 for the national team, a three-time SA, two-time SA gold medalist. And I'm like, this is it now. And I went in there. He was very strong. One of the strongest football guys I've ever fought. He hit hard. But every time he hit me, I stood up. I never even fell one. I never even flinched. I was like, wow, you know, that alone told me that, Thato, you are strong. No matter how hard that man came, you still stood up strong. And I mean, it was only a matter of technique that I had to change for me to win. Because in round two, I could tell that when I was more on my feet and jabbing more and fighting on the outside, I was taking the fight. But every time he came in, I could feel the power, so I would clinch now and then. But that taught me that as a first time guy, I could make it to the nationals and get silver. And it showed me how strong I am. I believe this year's championships I'm taking gold.
We all have difficult times, difficult moments. Someone's relatives died. Someone has no money. Someone lost the lottery. Someone's girlfriend left. And so on. Difficult times, dark times. Tell me, please, your story. What was the hardest moment of your boxing journey?
Um, I've had a few. I mean, dieting is one of the least because we just need to be disciplined when it comes to that. Um, I think one of my hardest time was being away from family, you know, because you get family saying, let's go out, let's do this, and then family wants to go to church and you need to be at the national trainings. You need to be at training every single time. You need to be at camp every single time. So you normally away from people, and when you come back, you hear things like, "Yeah, you don't love us anymore. You don't spend time with us anymore." So you start drifting away from your family members only because of always training, always doing this. So the hardest part for me is having to say goodbye to your closest friends and family for the time being to focus on your achievements.
In dark times, support is very important. Even strong boxers need support. That's what saves us. Support of loved ones in difficult times, moments of darkness. Who supported you the most during difficult times?
Oh, well, my biggest support actually wouldn't be one. It's my family in whole, you know. It's people that even though they never showed up to my fights, but they showed up in prayer, you know. Before I left, they prayed. When I went up, they were praying, you know. When I came back, the first thing I got was, how was it? We're praying for you. So I've learned that the strongest appearance is in prayer, not just physically. You know, it's always nice to see that, oh wow, you're here, and you supporting me. But I've learned to know that prayer goes the first of ways. So it's my family in the whole, because we grew up in a household we were always told to be united. You know, even if they were never there physically to watch my fights, but in prayer they've always been there for me.
Did you ever think about quitting boxing to leave boxing?
Yeah, I have. I have. I think about it every time when I'm about to fight and I'm preparing for a fight. I'm like, oh, out of everything I could have done, why did I choose boxing? I could have done soccer. Not that soccer is not nice or it's not hard, but I'm like, I could have done soccer or something else or play chess. Why boxing? You know, it always hits me when I have to train twice as hard because I'm thinking behind my head that the guy I'm going to fight is probably training also. And if I sleep, oh, I must wake up. He's probably running. So that pressure alone, I'm like, oh, why did I do boxing? I think this is my last fight, you know. And then when I step in the ring and I win, I'm like, you know what, I'm doing it again. So it happens every time when I train that why did I choose boxing?
I'm so glad you didn't give up. It's good that you continue your boxing journey. You did a great job. And what gave you the strength to continue?
Prayer. Prayer gave me the strength to continue. And through prayer, I, it showed me my goal, you know, what I wanted to achieve. You know, I'm a guy that likes to people that speak and I'll take notes myself that not myself but God to say, God, this is where I want to be. Now because I've told God that and because I've told him that now I'm accountable having to achieve that goal. Pray telling God that I wanna be that number one. Every morning I wake up and say, Lord, I told you a dream and you know about it. And every day I know you'll hold me accountable by reminding me that I need to live up to the dream. So yeah.
Which achievement in your career are you most proud of?
Which achievement in my career am I most proud of? Uh, I wouldn't say it's the medals, but I think it's the moments that I had through my achievements that I'm most proud of. You know, I've gotten the goal, but the goal is the least of the medals I've gotten. I've gotten fights, but I think the journey is my most greatest achievement. The friends I met, the family I've known to meet, the people I can now call, hey, brother, how are you? Are we turning pro together next year? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll be going pro together, you know. I think for me, my biggest achievement is the family and the people that I've learned to meet in this sport, and not just the medals alone.
The next question will be philosophical. To think, what is the difference between a good boxer and as a champion?
Difference between a good boxer and a champion. That is a nice question. You know, between a boxer and hard work. You know, you might be good, but you don't have a heart of a champion. You might be cool, but you don't have a mind of a champion. But because you have a mind of a champion, no good boxer can ever surpass you. No matter how skillful you can be, but because your heart and your mind knows that you are a champion, you strive for that, and nothing ever stops you. You know, it's one heart that no man can ever break. You have this thing in you that you have this goal, and no one can take it away from you, no matter how good this person is. So, a heart of a champion can beat many greater skill boxers because you know for sure that it's not just skill, but mind and heart is involved as well.
In my opinion, the real champion, goes to each of his fights as the last and is ready to die in the ring.
Yeah.
For him, fighting is like war, not just art, but war in the ring.
True, true.
And which fight made you feel like you truly become a professional boxer mentally, not just amateur mentally, and professional boxer mentally?
Um, that was a fight, if I'm not mistaken, Tyson versus what's his name now?
Buster Douglas?
Yes, yes. That was one of the fights that touched my heart because Douglas knew that he's going against a beast, guy who was good, and everyone knew that Tyson was a beast and he was good. But Douglas had a promise in his heart, and in his mind, he made a promise to his mom. And with that, he has a heart of a champion that I promise that you will see me as a champ because he already told his mom that and himself that he was a champion. He got up and said he will die for it. Whereas Tyson knew that he was good. He just needed to just break Douglas down and take another win. For him, it was like another fight. But Douglas was just, it wasn't just another fight for him. For him, it was a fight to prove that he was champ and that he told his mom that he would be a champ. So that was one of my greatest fights that changed my mindset.
Oh, you are right. I remember Douglas' mother died, and Tyson made
Yes, yes,
dice of it. Tyson laughed at Douglas. I don't respect that. For me,
yes,
respect comes first.
true, true.
Tell me please about your motivation. What motivates you after already achieving so much?
My greatest motivation is my mom, because even after her passing, I've always wished that, she was the in person to see my fight, because as an amateur boxer, you go in there and then you train and you fight and you see all other mothers that come and watch their kids, box and stuff. But I've always told myself that, like I've said previously, prayer, you know, that I carry her close to me. So every time when I box, I always know that she's there next to me. And because she's next to me, I wouldn't want her to see me lose, you know. So that's why I give it my all. I mean, I get people that say, why are you so hard to break? Why are you so hard to take down? You can't take me down. The only problem is that if you took me down, then that means you're making me believe that my mom is not next to me. And that's something that you're not going to take away from me. They believe that she's there with me everywhere I go. So no matter how hard the fight gets, I always tell myself that the least you can do is just die in a drink, nothing more. So I have to give it my all. So my mom is my biggest motivation because she's close to my heart.
This is good. It's very good. What goals are still unfinished? Maybe the world championship in amateur.
That's one of my goals that unfinished, yes, because this year, speaking, we are 13 days away from the nationals that are happening in Cape Town. So we've been preparing for that. And That's one of my unfinished goals because I really need to take this goal. I mean, I'm glad that I got silver last year as a first time attendant, but this year is the year where I need to take gold. I have to, because after this year, um, I'm thinking of turning professional. So until then, one of my greatest things that I do want to achieve is this goal this year. So that's my one unfinished business.
You always work out late. I enjoy the interview with you. You quit late. You work all day. This is something incredible. You are very hardworking.
Okay.
Describe a normal training day for you.
A normal training day for me would be a 5K run. After taking a 5K run, going to the gym, do 3 minutes rounds of skipping of six rounds. Yeah. Then after skipping, we hit the bag, 3 minute rounds of 4 rounds of 3 minutes, hitting the bag. And from there, we do, we don't always do pad work, but yeah, when we do, but I wouldn't count it as much. And then we go into the ring and we spar. And after sparring, come back, do strength training, and then I run back another 5K back to the house. No, 6.5K. So I run 6.5K and run 6.5K back.
Your body is strong. Your body can withstand heavy loads. Very interesting to listen. What part of training is the hardest?
What part of training is the hardest for me? Strength training is one of the hardest for me. Strength, because um, you're working on every part of your muscle. Your mind needs to be in tune. Your legs need to be in tune. So strength comes with a lot of conditioning. So conditioning is one of the hardest because your mind needs to be conditioned, your body needs to be conditioned, your emotions need to be conditioned. So everything needs to be strong and one. So in order to condition all those parts of your body at the same time, it's one of the hardest things to do. Because you break down, you ask yourself, why am I here? That's when your mind is not being conditioned. Your legs are aching, your shins are aching, but you still need to keep going. So yeah, strength training.
Who is your favorite sparring partner?
Yeah, I have a few actually. I have three.
Oh, tell me please three.
So my sparring partners that I enjoy is Sintenes, uh, Samgelo Radebe, and Rorisang. Only because I learned three different styles from these people. Sinclair is smaller than me in weight, so he's quicker, but also he can sting. So he's someone that makes me think when I spar with him. Radebe is a very fast boxer. He's quick with his hands. He reminds me of Sugar Ray Leonard. So because of Sugar Ray Leonard, his his style makes me think a lot. So I'm always on my toes. I'm always on my feet. And then Rory Sang is one technical boxer. He is not far from my weight, so he keeps me technical. He keeps me on my toes, and he keeps me thinking. So those are my top three.
I was interviewing Rory Sang. He is a very handsome guy. I respect him.
Yes, indeed.
Also, you are very disciplined man. How
Thank you very
important
much.
is discipline outside the gym?
Oh, wow. It's very important only because, you know, when you leave the gym, you don't leave the gym per se, but you take the gym with you back home. Only because the discipline that you put yourself through, and I mean the hard work that you put yourself through in the gym, you know, you don't want to leave there now and now fall off. So you take the gym with you back home. You know, you need to watch your friends. You need to watch who you're around. You know, you need to take time away from family meals, even though you want to eat. You know, you need to see how you eat. You know, whom you are around, whom you talk to, because also that can play a big role emotionally.
Do you have a strict diet? Do you limit yourself in food?
At first I wasn't, but now that I'm in a different weight category, yes, I am. So I normally have my oats in the morning, of which was what Rosan told me to have. I'll have my oats in the morning with fruits, two toasted sandwiches and an egg, and then later on have a breast with salad or just breast alone.
Is it hard for you to wait on the eve of the fight? To make weight? Is it nothing complicated? Everything is going according to plan.
So the first time I made weight on this new weight that I haven't been on in a long time, it was hard. But now I've learned to understand my body. Hence, I always tell myself I'm not going to push my diet as that hard as long as I watch how I eat. And it's always on the last week of the fight that I focus on my weight and I always make the weight, yeah. So with my body, I know that I can easily cut about 4 kilos to 5 in a week without even sweat. I mean, without even having to work that hard. You know, it's always those last grams that are always hard to cut.
What are your biggest weapons inside the ring?
Yeah, my biggest weapon is my straight right and my left body. My left hook to the body and my straight right one is one of my biggest weapons.
You body puncher.
Yeah, I like hitting the body, but I love jabbing a lot. One of my key punches is actually a jab. So I just can't stop jabbing. My fundamental punch is a jab at all times. I just keep jabbing. It helps me set everything up. So my fundamental punch is a jab.
Your jab is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Many have not seen your fights, and they will be interested to know about your style. How would you describe your boxing style? Tell me please about your style.
So I don't know how to really describe my style. I fight orthodox, but I've learned to be a guy that can, and I wouldn't say a chameleon because it's one animal that changes based on where it is. But for me, it's that I can adapt easy based on who I'm fighting. You know, um, the next minute I'm on my toes, next minute I'm composed, next minute I change stance and I'm southpaw. So my style is normally based on the guy I'm going to fight. You know, I can easily adapt when I'm in the ring.
You have a strong blow to the body. Very good series. You also have a phenomenal jab. You shoot a jab like a machine gun. Jab, 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 jab.
Thank you.
But what skills are you currently trying to improve?
One of the skills I'm trying to improve is having to sit on my punches. I don't sit more. I've been working with a guy, not working, but he has been showing me the skill. You know, um, it's more American style, he says, because everything that you throw with intention. You sit more on your punches. So his name is King. Um, so he's the one that's been helping me at TKO with having to sit on my punches more. So I've been learning that a lot to sit on my punches more so they're more effective when I punch. and not just throw punches a lot, but they don't give any affection. So I mean, where they're not effective. So I'm learning to throw more effective punches now.
Manny Pacquiao and Vasyl Lomachenko rarely perform for me. Maybe someone from the young. Which fighters inspire you and why from the young boxers?
From the young boxers, uh,
Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis.
I think Tank is one of the guys that inspire me. Um, Gervonta Davis, yeah, Tank, only because of the way his style is. He's very composed. You know, quite composed boxer, and then when he wants to switch your lights off, he will do it. So that style that I'm learning now is one style that he would relate to because that's his fighting style. He's very composed. He doesn't care how tall you are or how big you are. If he needs to take you down, he will do exactly that.
Oh, I also very like Gervonta Davis. It's a pity that the ex-wife drags Gervonta around the courts, and Gervonta is now in court with her. But uh, Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson hypothetical fight. In your honest opinion, who will win?
That's a very hard fight. I think Shako would take it only because now, if it had to happen now, Shako, because Tank has his first row, and Tank has now been wobbled before. And I've always said the strongest boxers, once they get wobbled, people now know that they can be wobbled, and they start not fearing them. So I think boxers have now discovered Tank, and they know his style now. So I think, yeah, now that fighters know how Tank really fights, Shako would take it.
Is Gervonta Davis possibly knocking out Shakur?
He could knock him out, but Shako is not really someone that is wild when it comes to fighting. You know, he watches his opponent very well. Chooses his punches very well. So he could knock him out if Tank had to put pressure like he always does. But if Shako just sticks to his style and then try fight him from the outside, then he should. You can't roll with Tank because I mean he's not gonna knock you down. But if he just fights him well, technical fighting from the outside, you could take it.
Oh, Gervonta Davis is very good at
Very
hitting
good.
his attacks. He has such blows that you don't always see. He hits his blow very well.
Indeed, indeed.
And tell me please about your next fight. If someone watches your fight for the first time, what should they expect?
Yo, this this fight coming up now. For those that will be watching for the first time, if you had to watch it for the first time, you'll be tuning into someone different. You'll be tuning in Thato champ, the one and only champ. You'll be this will be a new me, a new era. You know, not just a beginning of something that should be, but something that will be great. This is another style that I've learned, and I'm really looking forward into unleashing it. If people think they want to come in strong, let them come in strong. I've taken power from one of the strongest guys I think last year, and I've learned to take in power. So if power is what they have, I have twice the power that they think that they have. I've twice the speed now that I had last year. So this year I'm going in with more speed, more power, and more accuracy. So if you're coming to watch me for the first time, you get nothing but speed and power, flashy, flashy punches, you know, and aiming to knock everyone down. That comes my way.
Absolutely. You are the future world champion in amateur and pro.
Thank you.
And in the final part of our interview, I wanted to talk about your life outside boxing and who is Thato Ntlemeza outside of boxing.
So Tato is a loving guy, a guy that is humble to most people. You know, I always try and be as down to earth as I can be for everyone. I'm a team player. You know, I'm someone that is there for everyone. You know, I don't care if you're there for me or not there for me. I don't do it for the sake of you being there for me. I'm someone that you can call anytime that you need help from. You know, someone that wants to make change in his community and amongst young kids. You know, um, I'm a son. I'm a child of God who just loves the Lord's kids. You know, love change amongst anything besides gym. Just a boy that follows what God wants me to do.
What do you enjoy doing when you are not training?
Ministering, like going into dance ministry. There's a organization called Free to Dance that I'm part of. It's a non government based organization that goes out into the community and helps kids out. You know, we teach the gospel and we spread the gospel through dance. We give out food parcels and food, feed the kids, and go out to shelters and homeless kids and bring them through. You know, um, it's a family that spreads gospel. So if I'm not training, then I'm trying to spread the word of God.
What values guide you every day?
What? Sorry.
What values guide you every day?
Um.
Hustle, loyalty, respect,
So
values.
so one thing that guides me with my value is values of respect. You know, one of my key thing is respect and love. If you can't seem to respect, then you can't seem to love another. You know, so for you to love someone, you need to respect someone. So one of my fundamental values is respect.
Oh, my friend, human values are very important in our time.
Sure.
What advice would you give to young fighters starting boxing?
Wow. One thing that I can tell young fighters that are starting boxing is that never think that you are not as good as the person that is being taught by your coach. So never think that because they are good in pad and they are being focused more on that you are least important. Because in my journey, I always felt that because I was not given pad work and he was coach's favorite boxer. So never feel because you go into some gyms, you all going into some gyms, so you'll get favorite boxers, the coach's favorite boxer, and you feel like you less than him. Keep your head up high and always know that your time will come and it will shine on you as well. So no matter what happens, just keep pushing and keep training. Look up to those that will want the greatest from you and tell yourself that you can do it.
I advise them to watch our interview, to listen to you. You have a right human values. I like it. I very respect you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
And where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Well, in the next 2 years, I see myself already in the professional industry. I see myself settling down, knowing that it's time that I set my life values to line. You know, I'm 25 now, so I'll be to 27, moving towards 30. By that time, I really need to move into a place where I know that I'm securing my ticket to my great life.
I'll see you at the Olympics in the United States, Los Angeles, in 2 years. And after Olympics, you will become a pro.
Thank you very much.
And what legacy do you want to leave in boxing?
I want to leave not just any kind of, but I want to leave such a legacy that people will know that boxing isn't just a sport, but a place to call home. I want to leave a legacy where kids will have shelters to run to, you know, have have boxing to run to and call home. That kind of a legacy where people will not just say he was the greatest boxer, but he was one man that made home for us through boxing. So yeah,
Oh, I said Lomachenko's father's Papachenko, Anatoly Lomachenko, Papachenko. You may not be a champion, but you must be a human being.
yes, indeed.
And my final questions.
Yes, yes.
What does it truly mean to be a champion? Only winning fights or becoming a better person through the journey?
What it really means to being a champion is always know when always know when you should put yourself last and put others in front of you. That's what a true champion does. Because what a true champion does is that he will allow people who are behind him to go in front of him. And then he will always make sure that he always tries for the best. And in doing so, a true champion doesn't only want to win, but allows other people to win also.
Thank you very much, Tato, for this amazing conversation. It was a pleasure to learn more about your journey, your achievements, and your mindset. I
Thank
wish
you.
you many more victories, success, and I hope to see your name at the highest level of boxing. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being with us today on my YouTube channel,
Thank
Boxing on
you.
Sundays. Goodbye, my
Thank,
friend, and good luck.
thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you.